friends and colleagues from different parts of the country, if not, I think, international. And I welcome you all to have me, taking the time out to join this session. I shall begin with the topic that is ICT tools and resources for teaching. I had a session on this 3-4 months back, and I have revised this presentation a little bit. But let's move on from this slide to the next one, ma'am. Yeah. At the onset, I would, you know, expect everyone who is part of this session. I have a few questions to all of you. In today's date, how much do you think you are influenced by technology? Or how much can you stay away from technology? I'm sure all of us are using a mobile or a laptop or a tab or something to view this session. So first of all, if you are not in touch with technology, you are unable to, even be a part of this session. So we are all using mobiles. We are buying material online. We are, interacting with others. We are sharing information. That is precisely what is this session all about. ICT. ICT stands for Information and Communication Technology. So all the devices, all the different forms of software or hardware that we use for processing, storing, transmitting, or even retrieving information from any place, anytime, whether it's data or information, it all falls under ICT. And we are surrounded by technology. It has changed the way we live today. So as teachers, it is very important that we are aware of this technology. We are able to control it and utilize it to the best way possible in our classrooms. Can we have the next slide, ma'am? Yeah. So I have just shared this. It's a interesting slide here, where if you see, we can make a note that in today's date, about 7.5 hours of entertainment technology is being used by children, and interestingly, more than 75% of the children have a device, whether it is a mobile or a laptop or a tab, in their bedroom. And I think undeniably, mobile devices continue to be our best friends. We spend more time, today checking how many likes we have got on a picture which is been posted in Facebook, rather than the friend who is sitting next to you and your both of them sitting in the same room, in the same sofa, and talking to each one's mobiles. They don't interact directly. So that is the world we live in. We see now, when we talk to teachers, we have also found what they are seeing in the classroom or in their areas. Data driven instruction is 75%. The tools which promote creativity in learning is being used more than 53%. Personalized learning is 48%. So the chart there shows, a lot of interesting facts. This actually, in indirect way, it is showing how much dependent we are on these gadgets and technology. So once we understand the dependency, is it not necessary that we try to update ourselves also regarding the use of such technology and optimize the way we can deliver our product? When I say our education is also a product, and the students are our learners, to whom we are, in one case actually we are selling some product, that is the knowledge transfer. So let's move on to the next slide, ma'am. So, objectives of this session, I will be covering 4 areas. Number one is what is the use or how we can use ICT in teaching or the education sector. Number two, sourcing information. Information is a very important thing which we have to, actually analyze and disseminate or to share it in the right way to the learners. So we must first ensure that we have the right information at the right place from the right source. So sourcing information is an art. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also look at what skills we can acquire through this ICT systems. What are the possible ways of and what are the skills that we can learn, how we can improve on these, and how we can bring it into best use. Lastly, we'll also look at what are the advantages, and of course, as I say, any advantage has got a demerit. A very common term which I would be using nowadays is today all the classrooms and all the phones and other equipments have become smarter, but their users are becoming less smart. There was a time when we could remember 100 phone numbers in our brains. Today, we are so dependent on mobiles that if suddenly we lose our mobiles, we are at a loss. We don't even remember the mobile number of your near and dear ones. So, yes, the advantages and demerits both are there. Yes, ma'am, you can move to the next one. So now I'll be talking about some trends which are here to stay. And today, if you look at it, this is the focus. So these are the 7 technology trends. I would be discussing a little bit of all these trends in the coming slides, but I'll just share a few points here. Artificial intelligence, I think, this is one of the most sought after areas. Internet of Things is there, which is being used in almost every industry. Many students in today's date, many of the learners are looking at personalized learning because it helps them to learn at their own pace and time and convenience. Virtual reality and augmented reality is also here to stay. During COVID, we had a lot of focus on virtual reality. Of course, today we are looking at a balance of both, but yes, this is also part and parcel of the technology that is available and being used in large measures. Immersive learning, which gives a student or a learner the opportunity or the option, to fail safely. There is a lot of use of games. Gamification has become a trend nowadays. We try to, generate interest. Even at the school level, there is a lot of focus on teaching by showing figures, pictures, sometimes videos, cartoons, and as such, gamification is one of the trends which is going to be there. Of course, security measure is there. We'll look at all of these things a little bit more in detail in the coming slides. Yes, ma'am, you can move. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. So let us look at some of the applications of artificial intelligence. Where all we are looking at artificial intelligence? We are looking at artificial intelligence in the automobile industry, business, of course, education, finance, manufacturing, gaming industry. Yes, a lot of us play games on the mobiles. Yes, that game has also got a learning process, which systemizes the game according to the player. That is the beautiful beauty of artificial intelligence. The government is using healthcare. Yes, there is a lot of technological advancements in healthcare. At home, when we look at the Internet of Things usage by industry, you know, the temperature controls in the car, we have it in the rooms, air conditioners, we have these equipments with optimized energy uses. We look at, even in the agriculture, we are looking at crop management and, soil analysis, which is happening using the Internet of Things. Internet of Things is there, which is being put into use in almost every aspect. Most of us are used to wearing a Fitbit or a smartwatch, which tracks the heart rate, which tells you how many steps you have walked, how much more you need to, what calories you have burned. All these are possible today because of the technology that is there. And yes, Internet of Things plays a key role there. There are, key elements of this personalized learning, where the student can, as I said before, plan as per his requirement, take time, and progress at his own convenience. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah, we are looking at the next two aspects. On the right side, we are talking about security measures. So yes, human aspects are there, keeping a backup of your data, which is very important. Cryptography, you have the information encrypted so that it is safe. There are up to number of firewalls, anti-spyware, antivirus, all these are being used, and it is very common. The levels are different depending on the kind of information or data that you are securing. When we look at immersive learning, as I mentioned already, it gives the learner, hands-on experience. It helps to create interest. It improves the quality of the training process, and also, the confidence is there for the learner so that he or she can fail. They can visualize their learning. So overall, the technology serves in many areas. The next slide, ma'am. Yeah. Here now I have mentioned the other 2 points, that is gamification. See, whenever we have some games, it generates the competitive spirit in the learner. They are more happy and more keen. When you ask somebody to do it alone, they are not so, enthusiastic maybe. But when it becomes a game, people participate more happily. A teacher can, generate more participation and interest. They can give small token appreciations of chocolates or a badge or something like that. And student assume different perspectives. They learn not only the game, they learn much more from the game if the teacher can convey the input in the right manner and link it with the lesson that he or she is trying to convey. Artificial intelligence and augmented reality and virtual reality are there to stay. The augmented reality user is fully immersed in the real world and a virtual world, but in virtual reality they are totally cut off from the real world. That is the broad difference. So there is no way there is a support for the virtual reality, but in the augmented reality, yes, you can control, and you can convey it a little bit more in a controlled fashion. Can we move on now? Yeah. So in today's date, teaching and learning has got a number of tools and resources. So we must continuously adopt. We must adopt in the sense that we must be familiar with all these tools. We must look at and understand these tools and their applications. And we must adapt. When I say adapt, our teaching delivery process must be such that it incorporates technology as part of the delivery process. Today's generation, the children are very smart, and they are very capable with technology. They would be very easily bored if they are not, shown the things which is up to date or present day requirements. If you take a blackboard and a chalk, I think students may not have focus on the sessions. So we need to, keep a lot more focus on the use of technology, and we have to adapt ourselves, learn, and mix our delivery process using all this technology. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. So, what are the tools that are included in the ICT? This is just common point: laptops, notebooks, mobiles, tablets, LCD projectors, internet, networking, whether it's a local area or whether it's a Wi-Fi. Even those emails and other apps and softwares that we are using, different learning platforms, all these are part or parcel of ICT. Can we move on, ma'am? Okay. Now let us look at what are the uses of ICT in education. So it provides an enhanced learning experience. How? We can reinforce what we want to deliver by use of a projected video, by use of a story, by use of role play, or some other sort of activity which is using some technology. So it gives a more compelling participation and interest in the class. Self-paced, yes, there is a lot of options to pursue learning online. Nowadays, you get videos of every subject possible in YouTube and other such platforms like Coursera or maybe edX. So you can get a lot of information and you can collect this and study at your own convenient time. So there is an option for integrated, dynamic, and interactive learning. So the teacher can, or involve the students. There can be an interaction, whether it is in the classroom or online. We can also use numerous assessment tools. By use of technology, you can create a Google form quiz. You can, link to Quizarea or such other sites which has the relevant points, and you can give assessments. From there, these assessments can be checked, and feedback can be given. The students can collaborate with one another, and the learning can be synchronized, so that a group participation is there and they discuss and learn. You can update the curriculum that you are studying from other websites which are following similar programs. Whether it is a subject, topic, or something, you can update yourself, and such curriculum can also be shared on the common platform. There is a lot of opportunity for application of knowledge. Whatever you learn, you can try out, whether it is in the real mode or virtual mode, and you can try out on an individual manner. You can try out along with a group. Once you try out, you can share the results. This is scope for experiential or hands-on practice and exchange of knowledge. There is ample scope to share what you have learned, and take feedback from your collaborators or your trainers or your facilitators. So as such, it's a lot of area or scope for use of this information and communication technology in education. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. So here I am just sharing some reasons why we should use. It's a continuous learning process. It improves the productivity. It is, there in many of the standard curriculums globally. the communication action is there in the cyberspace. You need to update your curriculum and you can get the latest information. So, and as I said, digital information is easy to get. It is accessible very easily. You can search and acquire this. So with this kind of facility at your fingertips, if we do not use, then we are going to lag behind. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. So let us look at what are the areas for e-learning. When I say, so what is e-learning actually? So it is innovative teaching learning procedure. Why innovative? Because you are in a particularly it's in a this is in a growing stage. Of course, it is continuously going to increase. Maybe in coming 10 years time, we really don't know how much actually physical classrooms will exist, except for the labs. Most of the sessions would be online, especially during COVID. All of us would have experimented with this, but there is a lot of standardization happening nowadays. Even government portals like Swayam and other such places, we are now focuses on how much e-content we are able to develop. It's a real-time learning because you are interacting with people who are also doing the similar thing, not just in your class or in your city or state, but globally. It improves productivity in the class because students are very keen with technology and they are very happy to be a participant whenever technology is involved. You can do formative assessments. As I said, it can be done online using different venues, or you can personalize it as per your requirement. You can introduce a lot of abstract concepts. Industrial and technical inputs from experts, site visits can all be done through videos or conferencing. Teaching aid and resources, obviously, we are all aware we are using. Hands-on advanced technological tools can be demonstrated, and you can target multiple levels of intelligence at the same time. Face-to-face interaction can also be there. So all of this put together, definitely increases the effectiveness of the trainer and the ability of the learner to acquire or gather the knowledge. So yes, I think with such points, we can be very clear that ICT plays a crucial role in knowledge transfer in the current day. Next slide, ma'am. Okay, we are coming to the next part, that is sourcing information. So what are the different sources of information? Most of us are aware of Google, Chrome and Firefox, or Twitter, Skype, Facebook. These are all different digital platforms, common ones. Nowadays, you ask a student to get some information, they never bother to go to the library. The first place they would check is on their phone, and it is Google. So is it the best source to get your information from? What do the people say? I want one or two people to respond to this question. What is the best way to source information? Do you all feel that Google is one of the best sources of getting information? Anyone can
yeah, yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Dr. Kala, sir, from Sitara Shamsami College, Tiruchirappalli.
Yes, ma'am.
More than feeling that it is the best app, as soon as we want to refer anything, want to know anything about, everybody is going to Google only for the first time.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, we get all the information that we are searching for.
Correct. I totally agree with you. But how confident are you that what information you got is genuine and correct?
It is not actually 100% genuine, sir, because in some of the facts that I searched for,
yes,
which actually I know about, to know something exists than what I know. I could see that some of the information given by Google is not actually correct. So we
Exactly,
cannot
ma'am. Exactly.
we cannot entirely depend on Google, but to know
Yes,
to
ma'am.
certain extent we can go further.
Sure. Yes, I agree with you. Anybody else wants to share any point on this, please, quickly? Is there anyone who wants to say something, or I think then I should move on? Okay. So, ma'am, I'll just share a very interesting point about this. There was a time when I wanted my class to understand that Google is not always the best source. So what I did was I created a page on the net, and I ensured that using some search engine optimization systems, that page would be amongst the top 10 pages when you search with particular keywords. And I filled up a lot of wrong information on that subject because I knew that I was going to question my class on something on a particular topic. And believe me, exactly as you said, the moment the question was shared, under the chair, everybody got busy with Google, and they happily wrote down and shared the information which I had put there, not knowing that that is what they were expected to do. So after that, I explained to them that see, Google is a good source of information, but you must always be careful and verify the authenticity of this information. So can we move to the next slide, ma'am? Yeah. So over here, I am putting some sites which are very popular in the web, wherein students collect information. Wikipedia, yes, has got some aspect of quality, but then Wikipedia is very smart and it tells you that this information needs to be authenticated. So whenever you collect information from Wikipedia which is not verified, please be sure that you cross check and verify such information. Facebook, Flickr, Google, YouTube are all different social media platforms where you can get information which all needs to be verified. These are all not 100% assured authentic information. So please be careful when you collect information from such sites. Uh, Cross check the validity, whether it is cited somewhere, whether it is a common information, then you use it. Because sometimes, you have false news which is presented in this kind of sites, and then it can be quite embarrassing when you speak and, you come out with some information which students say that it doesn't exist. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. Now, these are some of the more reliable sites here, which I am sharing. These are for more of the, gathering the research-based information. I think most of us are part of the higher educational institutions. So I think this all we should be aware of and we can use this. So SSRN, REPEC or PubMed, these are all disciplinary repositories which have a lot of, information. Google Scholar, books, Amazon, it does allow you to, browse through and read certain books. It allows you to read some pages. Mentally, ResearchGate, these are all for, the research mostly. Wikipedia, I have already talked about. Khan Academy is a learning platform where you can, share knowledge as well as learn. So these are little bit more authentic sources of information. So I would suggest candidates can look at these sources whenever they search for information. Can we move on, ma'am? Yeah. Now, let us quickly understand what are the advantages and disadvantages of using these sources of information. Advantages, as I said, easily available. You go to Google, you can get it. Most of the times, these facilities are available at very low price and almost free. It saves time. It allows you to look at different perspectives and get insights from other people's analysis. There are longitudinal analysis over a period of time. Anyone can collect this data, and a huge amount of secondary data is available from numerous sources. But again, I am cautioning on the disadvantages. We must be very clear, because this may always not be specific to your needs. You don't have control over the quality of the data. Whichever has been optimized or paid for will be the one that will come to you at the front page. The data can be biased in favor of the person who gathered it. My example was one of such things. Data, yes, it can be out of date also. And always remember that you are not the owner of the data. So whenever you gather any data from any online resource, please make sure you record the date, the time, and the URL of the website, so that when you cite it, you give credit to the source in this manner. Unless you record it, next day you go, that web page might totally be lost. So please be cautious on understanding the advantages and disadvantages of ICT sources. Next slide. Now let us look at integrating technology in our classroom. How are we going to integrate this technology and make the sessions more interesting, more absorbing, more relevant? Point one, the use has to be planned and purposeful. It must be routine and it must be regular. It cannot be that I will use a video or an information technology system only once in the entire semester. All your sessions must have a mix of different kinds of learning methodologies, and it must be relevant to the class. I am sharing this point because I have seen teachers sometimes, they feel today I am not feeling well. So I'll play a video for the students, let them watch. And they are playing a movie. This movie is nowhere related to the subject. So after some time, students may have enjoyed the movie, but have they learned anything? It's a question. So if you want to play a video, it is your responsibility to ensure that it is related to the curriculum, it is supporting the goals, and it is able to impart some aspect of knowledge that is there in the curriculum. You must engage the students with the content and relate it with the subject. ICT must help on focusing to develop the thinking process. You can use case studies, you can use videos, and ask the students to analyze and give their inputs. They must be encouraged to the higher order thinking levels. When I talk about higher order thinking levels, I'm sure since I'm talking to the community of teachers and trainers, we all understand the Bloom's taxonomy of learning. So the lower order, which is like memorizing and understanding. The middle order is, analyzing and applications. Higher order is creating and evaluating. So your sessions must move from the remembering and understanding to analyzing and application, and further on to evaluating and creating new knowledge. The technology must support collaboration and activities which are going to be there in the classroom, must be constructive. It must help to build knowledge, understand, apply, and evaluate the learning. And finally, if possible, it can create some new information and knowledge. And it should be essential to the learning activity. As I said, we cannot simply put some technology in the class just for the sake of it. I attended a session today and I was told that technology is important. So I will use technology. I am going to send a SMS to all the students. How is it useful or relevant? If you have shared a joke on WhatsApp, or you have created a WhatsApp group, but it is only sharing jokes, then it is not relevant. It must be to share constructive information relevant to the subject and the learning process. Can we move on to the next slide, ma'am? Yeah. I think all of you must have come across this. This is what I call as the learning curve. And when I look at it, there are two kinds of learning: active learning, passive learning. So it says that, after about a couple of weeks, we tend to remember 10% of what we have read, 20% of what we heard, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear. These are all passive learning methods. So it is my suggestion to all the teachers here to come to the bottom part of the triangle and focus on active learning methods, where we remember 70% of what we say and 90% of what we do. The best way of teaching is to help the student become a participant, take on the role play and do. When the students train others, they learn the best. When the student performs the job, he remembers the maximum. So let us all try and focus on labs, exercises, gamification, capstone projects, community-based learning, wherein the students are actually involved in doing things experientially and doing the real thing and learning it. So this, if we can also incorporate some technology and make this sessions more interesting, our goal of transferring knowledge becomes very easy. Move on, ma'am. Next slide. Yeah. Now we are looking at a three-way approach. When I say it's a three-way approach, there are three aspects to it. The first is learning about ICT. So teachers and students both must together work and develop knowledge and skills in the potential use of this information and communication technology and the various apps, tools, and gadgets that are there to support learning. Both must be familiar, because if I am going to teach in a smart classroom and I am not able to operate the gadgets, then I'll not be able to deliver or do justice. Likewise, if the students are not able to follow, for example, I'm giving you a real life situation. During COVID, we were conducting online classes. There were some students who lived in rural areas, and many of them faced difficulty because of the availability of internet facilities in their areas. I had seen students who used to, travel about 2-3 kilometers away and sit on top of a tree, because that is the only place he'll get good signal and internet would be active. So these kind of challenges will actually distort the learning process. Next point is learning with ICT. Initially we were learning about, now we are learning with. So both the students and teachers use the various resources and work on knowledge transfer as per the curriculum. The third aspect is we have moved from learning about and learning with to the last stage where we are learning through. So both are experts and they are able to use ICT and transform the process of learning or teaching. Next slide, ma'am. Okay. Now, how are we going to, embed with ICT in our teaching learning process? So we start with familiarization. If as a teacher you are not aware of certain tools, do not hesitate. Take help from the experts. You can even ask your students. Some of them are very technical savvy and they can guide you. So please get familiar with gadgets. Use these in your spare time. Create more presentations. Incorporate videos in your sessions and so on. And practice it so that you can move on from familiarization to utilization. You can start utilizing this technology that is available. Once you have become somewhat skilled at using this, try to integrate it with your curriculum. See what is relevant. Take those parts, you can crop certain information and share only that is relevant to your session. Don't just take an entire video or an entire movie and play. Take that part which is relevant to you. Reorientation. Reorient your sessions. Plan for how you can make your session more compact and have a bigger impact. The videos, the technology has to be there, and it must carry a solid input. And the evolution process is always there. You have to continuously update, upgrade, and keep improving. What you have shown once cannot be repeated throughout for the next coming so many days time, because students also learn, they understand, and they also evolve. So these 5 stages, if you start from familiarization till you are evolving, and if you continuously evolve, then you would reach a stage where it becomes a self-dependent activity and you do not need to focus on this anymore. It will be a part and parcel of your practice. So can we move on, ma'am? Okay. Now we are looking at what are the stages of ICT integration. First is emerging. You are understanding it. What is the ICT? What are the tools? Learn, start applying, then infuse it into your system, and finally you go to transforming. Learning about ICT, awareness, as I said, use of ICT in your subject, how and when to use it, what you need to do, which will bring you to the last stage, that is specializing in the use of ICT. And teaching with and through ICT, the last part, it helps you to select and apply the different tools, enhancing the traditional teaching methods, whether it is a whiteboard or a blackboard, can be always enhanced with a smart session using some gadgets, maybe a laptop, sharing some online information, giving some links. There are different aspects in, uh, Microsoft has got something called a sway. You can create a sway where you can create a complete lesson, and you can have a 5-minute session in the class and ask the students to go through the rest of it in this way, where it could give them information. That would be a presentation, that would be a voiceover presentation, and it could also have links for further reading if anybody is interested. So these are all some of the tools, and you can use multimodal instruction basis, creating and managing innovative and open learning environment. When I say open learning, all the learners are your equals. You may be a teacher or facilitator. The age may be different, but treat them as equals. Have a friendly environment. Learn from everybody. 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 Learn from let them be free to ask questions, free to interact, free to disturb you, and gain inputs from you. As such, you would be able to transform the learning process. Can we move on, ma'am? Okay. Now we are coming to the third aspect of this session. What are the skills that we can actually acquire through ICT? So let us look at this: information and data literacy. All these points like browsing, searching for information, scanning information, evaluating data, all this is coming through ICT. You can communicate and collaborate. You can interact via ICT. You can share information. You can engage in different activities. You can learn etiquettes of the net. You can manage your digital identity. You have, all of us must be having numerous digital identities, whether it is on social media platforms or otherwise, like your profiles on ResearchGate or Google Scholar, whatever, or SID, and so on. You can create a lot of digital content. You develop. You can have this copywriting licenses. You can have programs. The firewalls, as I said, safety devices, all these things also you can learn how to protect, encrypt your data. Um, Set a password is also keeping your data safely. And of course, problem solving, technical problems, identifying the faults, creativity using digital technologies, and many more. So these are all some of the big major areas or skill areas which we focus when we are trying to acquire skills through ICT. Next slide, ma'am. So I have just written down this for all to have a clear idea. What are the skills that we can acquire? Blogging and podcasting, programming, designing. You can learn to tag. You can upload information. Of course, you can bookmark pages. You can put tweets. You learn to search. You learn to edit. You can download information. You can subscribe to pages. I think our host have been sharing a link where they say please subscribe to our YouTube page. So that is one practice. You can subscribe to certain pages or information so that you access it whenever you want. Crowdsourcing, experimenting. You can comment on feedbacks, points, pictures, various links, and so many more. So these are all skills which are, you tend to acquire the more you are active on various different forms of ICT platforms. Can we move on, ma'am? Okay. Now we are coming to the last part of this session where we are going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of ICT with a focus on the education. So as I said, today's date, the children are more tech savvy. So we need to be part and parcel with them to engage them. So it helps in learning by doing approach, gives them option to try out new things, self-paced learning. So we don't have to worry about a slow learner and a fast learner. If the subject is handed over, they learn. A slow learner will spend 2 hours, whereas a fast learner will learn it in 20 minutes. But they are doing it at home where they are not in front of all the class. They can use their time and their effort. It has access to a wide range of up-to-date materials. Any your topic also, any subject, you can get updated information by searching from Google. You can enrich your learning experience by interacting with others, by showing or seeing images, audio presentations, video presentations, animation, using of texts, and it provides a very compelling platform whereby, the student engagement can be very strong. So again, I'll reiterate in the next slide. Can we move on, ma'am? Next slide, please. Yeah. So see, you have the use of packages, word processing, DTP spreadsheets, etc., which is possible. Special facilities for pupils with disabilities is also available in ICT. We can, help giving presentations with a voiceover so that somebody who is hearing but not able to see can also, and other physical disabilities can be easily countered. The communication between the teacher and the student is better. ICT provides links with other organizations, institutions, business houses, and schools. So it provides a wider access and encourages new ways of learning. You can repeat the work again and again. The monotony is minimized. It's like a game, you keep playing the thing till you have the interest, you can continuously play. Can we go on? Obviously, when we say there are advantages, it comes with disadvantages. Students can only follow what CAL packages are predefined. That means if the package is not offering certain facilities, that will not be available. Face-to-face interaction is reduced between the student and the teacher. To me, that is a very important factor because, as I said at the beginning, if you remember, in today's date, I find a lot of devices which are smart, but the users are losing their smartness. So I still prefer a lot of interaction between the student and the teacher on a face-to-face or a one-on-one personal way. So yes, this is a challenge. It provides increased costs of education and learning. The devices are not always cheap. Internet doesn't come free at most places. Equipments are costly. There is a lot of scope for getting distracted and doing things irrelevant to your subject, because once you are on the browser you have access to optimum number of sites and information which can waste a lot of time and engage you in unproductive work. And of course, as I mentioned in the last point, there is a lot of scope to get exposed to illegal material, even porn sites. And, I still have my reservations about even normal social media sites like Instagram and Facebook, because I am sorry to say I find a lot of pornographic stuff which is available on these sites, and children are very easily smart enough to give a false age and gain access to all these sites. So we need to be very cautious. Next slide, ma'am. Continuing with the disadvantage, I am reiterating, this is expensive. Everybody doesn't get the same opportunity. It can become boring. Sitting in front of a computer, it can cause physical problems. It can, make you a couch potato, which is a very common problem with many of the youngsters today. The computers cannot interact on a personal level. Proper explanations can come only by personal touch, and teachers face the challenge to organize teaching of new concepts because there are two aspects to it. They need to get familiar with it first, and familiarizing a student online is also a challenge. Can we move on, ma'am? Okay. So I am almost coming to the end of my presentation. We have covered the 4 points that I gave in my objectives for this session. So when I'm coming to close, I am just giving some points as a word of caution. Tools are there to support. They are not meant to replace the teacher. Please remember, as teachers or trainers, you must control each and every class or session that you are taking. The tools, all the ICT gadgets are there to support. Without you, the class is never going to be complete. You must also note one thing: students are much more faster with gadgets and technology. I am sharing a recent experience. I was in a university nearby to give a lecture there, and I found that the university had made about 20 smart classrooms with smart televisions and so on. And these classrooms were connected by Wi-Fi. The TV and all was connected by Wi-Fi. So the teacher was making a presentation. Suddenly, some student sitting in the classroom, adjoining classroom, using the Wi-Fi, projected his mobile screen on the class system. Now, the person who was, doing my introduction suddenly got lost. He was talking about something. His presentation was missing, and there was a song which started playing on the digital screen. So you must remember this. Students are much faster with gadgets. They are much smarter. So if you want to use it, make sure that you are really in control. Otherwise, you will face such situations in your class. You want to teach something and the class is learning something else. So please do an extensive research and keep up with the latest technology as well as information. Security levels needs to be high. You must control and avoid any hackers coming in, irrelevant postings, as I just mentioned. The focus must be to develop and deliver content as per curriculum, not as per your convenience. So these are words of caution, very important. Can we have the next slide, ma'am? Lastly, I am just sharing for your knowledge. Maybe all of you must be aware of this, but I'm just sharing this. What are the top online learning platforms on today's date? So I would suggest that many of these are free of cost. I have not mentioned one or two here, but you can add on. So Google and Google, Swayam Portal, LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, edX, Udemy, Skillshare, Mastershare, uh, UNA Academy. You have Allison. These are all different portals where you can learn and even get certified online. And many of these courses are free of cost. So I would strongly recommend all the trainers to visit these sites, even enroll in refresher programs. If you are interested, you do a paid program, but if not, you can very well do a free of cost program and update your knowledge and information. So please make use of these sites. Can we move on to the next slide, ma'am? Okay, so some other knowledge sharing platforms. Yes, we are using one of those, Google Meet, Zoom, Blackboard, Teams. There are some quiz platforms like Quizarea, Trivia, and many more. You just need to search, and you will come across numerous sites which shares a lot of information with you. So I think with that, I am through with my presentation and what I wanted to share. So please feel free. The stage is all yours. You can put up your questions either in the chat box or unmute yourself and talk as